Hi guys. So this is the video that's going to describe your final project for this class. I think this is so crazy. I feel like this year went by so fast. I'm so proud of you guys for what you guys have done this year, and you guys should really be proud of yourselves. This project should really be like a celebration of what you've learned and really kind of just showing it off at this point. You guys learned a ton of information, like stuff that I couldn't imagine learning in high school. So I'm very excited for these and to kind of read up on some diseases. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen and we're going to like attempt to do this just like I would pass out these in school and we talk about it, except minus the whole like conversation piece. If you guys have any questions after this, please feel free to email me. I'm available really anytime during the weekday. I try to get back to you within an hour or two, or definitely before 24 hours. Weekends might be a little different, but I still check. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to share the screen. There's 3 different documents that I'm going to show you guys. And then we'll take it from there. So the first piece that I want you guys to take a look at is basically the product descriptor. So I handed one of these out with the brain research, and it was kind of like what I'm expecting. And then there was a rubric with it. And those two kind of went hand in hand. And if you hit everything basically on the rubric, you're golden. So we're going to talk about this product descriptor first. So basically, just summarizing it, it's your culminating project. You should, like, again, be celebrating what you've learned. It shouldn't be anything too crazy for you. So you're going to be assessed on the quality of your information, your ability to demonstrate your knowledge of anatomy, and your visual presentation quality. So typically this presentation would obviously be in class. You guys would be up presenting in front of your peers. That's not going to happen this time, so we're going to get creative. And I'm going to kind of leave that up to you guys, how you guys want to do it. But this project will count as your last like test assessment. So this is going to go in as a test, essentially. So the project objectives, I'm just going to like read them over. There's 3. So students will integrate and apply knowledge of anatomy by researching and explaining how pathology affects a particular body system. So this class focused on body systems. How does that disease, based on your research, affect that body system? Then their second one, students will describe a pathologic effect on cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and the organism as a whole. So you're going to want to hit each one of those because diseases do affect each one of those. Think back to unit 1. And then the last one, students will describe the diagnosis and prognosis of the disease, as well as treatment and prevention options. All right, so those are your objectives. That's basically what you're going to get out of this. So here's what I want you guys to do in your presentation. You guys need to answer these questions. So the first 4 questions are going to be mandatory questions that you need to answer, which means I think I have to change my rubric because I think I put 5. But the first 4 questions are mandatory. This last question, this is how you get the 4. So remember in the brain project when we like spent that day creating a lovely rubric. I created our own rubric for this one. If you guys don't like it, please put in your input. But you're going to think of a question on your own, similar to what we did for the brain project. So the brain project, you guys had to do like 2 or 3 questions on your own. This one, you're only going to do 1. So the first question, what causes the disease that you're researching? So like how COVID was caused by possibly, or it came possibly from bats, jumped from a secondary source into humans, and then spread basically. So what causes the disease? How does the disease affect cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and the organism as a whole? So you'll need to answer again all those chunks or all those layers of that. And then the third one, how is your disease diagnosed? What is the prognosis? So with COVID, the disease is diagnosed through that lovely nasal swab. My mom just got it done and she said it felt like they were poking her eyeball, which is not a good time. And then what is the prognosis? So basically like how long or what is the expected outcome of the disease? So for example, with like cancers, like sometimes people live from them, sometimes they don't. And then the 4th one, what treatment and prevention options are there for your disease? So there should be at least some sort of treatment or prevention or both. both really. If there is not one, specifically probably treatment, then you can say there's no treatment yet, but they're working on, like COVID, how they're working on like remdesivir as like a drug treatment. And then the last question to get a 4, you're going to think of one question on your own. So I want you guys, like, what is a question you might have about this disease? And I want you guys to answer that as fully as you can. So be creative in your question. And the last piece of this, be sure to include a reference page, and you're going to see below for my reference page requirements. So we are going to start getting strict now that we've had practice using references. And then you guys, as long as you guys kind of follow my directions, you'll be totally fine with your references. So those are the questions you guys need to have, or the components, I should say, that you guys need to have in this project. So research can be conducted on any pathological condition affecting any of the following human body systems. So the only ones we haven't talked about are the lymphatic and immune, and the reproductive. You guys can totally find one on those. That's absolutely fine with me. My only thing is the disease that you choose cannot be one we've covered in class. So you might have to think back to something we've covered back in the brain days. I think there's really about it. I think we did a couple case studies. So think back to what we have done and choose something different. So COVID's out because we are COVID out. Like, I've heard so much information about this. I'm just ready for this all to be over so we can get some real life data instead of getting new data every single day. But anyway, so new disease, something you're interested in. Once you guys have decided on the disease that you want to do, I'm going to have you guys fill out this sign up sheet in Google Classroom. You cannot start researching until you fill this out. So this has to be filled out before you do any research because I have to approve it. So there can't be any duplicate diseases. So first come, first serve. So as soon as you see this, I would sign up if you have one in mind already. So once you click on this link, it's going to take you to this sign up sheet. So you'll fill out the table below. Again, there cannot be any duplicate diseases. You'll just put your name and then the disease you're going to do. And then, was it approved by Ms. Snyder? You should not fill this out. I'm going to fill this out and I'll put yes or no. If you notice, if you want to come back and check up on it, I would. And then, or shoot me a quick email. Hey, like, can I do this? And then I can let you know right away. But if it's not approved by me, definitely be checking your email because I will send you an email to let you know. So then we have our project format. So that project format, it can really take any format you like. We're going to get creative. So I know a lot of you guys feel comfortable with Google Slides, but I'm challenging you to get out of your comfort zone. If you use it, and if you don't use it, still get out of your comfort zone. I would love to have no papers on this because I don't think papers really represent what you guys have learned. And frankly, papers are just kind of boring. So sorry for those of you who like writing papers, because I'm also one of those people who like writing papers, but like I choose the boring way. I don't know why. So we're going to get creative. So you guys can choose any formats. I just provided some examples. So Google Slides, if you guys do choose to use Google Slides, try and add voice clips explaining your slide. I think there's an option to do that on Slides. And then if not, I have an example of something else you could do. So try and add those voice clips so you can like basically talk through the presentation. So it's just like you're presenting, but you're only presenting really to yourself. It's weird, don't get me wrong, but that's what we're doing. Or just try and be as descriptive as possible. I would, again, like to not see paragraphs. I would like this to still be kind of a presentation in a way. But if you're kind of struggling with technology or you just don't understand how to put like voice clips in Google Slides, then let me know. And also I can help you out. So email me if you guys need any help with that. Kate did a lovely poster for the brain. She did schizophrenia and has that poster, and I totally stole that from her. I think this is a great idea. Old school is such a great way to do it. If you guys do choose to do the poster, I need like one full clear picture of the entire poster. And then I need like individual like clips or pictures of like maybe like one question and then the next question, and or like different pieces of it, so I can really see everything, and they need to be like the clearest pictures ever, because sometimes we can like take blurry pictures, but I need to be able to grade it. So posters are absolutely fine. There's something called Flipgrid. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but basically you guys can create a video and you guys can present the project just like as if we were in class. I created a Flipgrid page so you guys would be able to like do this. It's fairly easy. I did this when I was going to teacher school, and we had to make like a storybook or like a story with like a virtual storybook, I guess. And we could use like their pictures or their templates. So you just fill in your information, you go through it, and then you can add like your own talking piece. So it kind of looks like how I'm like up in this little bubble sharing my screen. It's kind of interesting, but you can add music to it from what I remember. I'm sure it's updated a ton since distance learning, just like every other platform has. But anyway, if you're interested in Flipgrid, it is pretty easy to use. And if you have any questions on how to use it, shoot me an email and we can figure that out together, because it's going to be, I think it's been a year since I've done it. So we'll figure it out together. But it is, I do recommend it. It's pretty fun. And then the last one is like YouTube or Zoom or both. So what I do with my weekly updates, if you guys couldn't tell, is I record a Zoom and then I upload it to YouTube. And then I post the YouTube link. So even if you guys did this for slides, you guys could easily start Zoom. You just start like a normal Zoom meeting and then you just click record. Once you guys end your like meeting, it'll save that recording and then you can upload it. You guys all have a YouTube account through your Google or your Gorham Schools email. So if you guys haven't started that yet and you guys want to, that's absolutely fine. So you should be able to upload your video to YouTube and then just send me the link and then that's your presentation. And you guys can even go through your slides just like that. That'd be absolutely fine. So these are just a few options for you guys. If you guys come up with another one, feel free to use it. We're going to stick with the creativity because I'm sure you guys have written a ton of papers and I'm sure you guys have written like a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to get you guys to just have some fun with this one. So finally, the reference page. So the reference page, you guys need to use at least 3 reliable resources. News sources are not reliable, so they might quote the CDC. A lot of you guys probably saw this on the COVID research I had you guys do. News is called the news. It stands for something, and I don't remember what it is, but it's not the most reliable. So even though like maybe they quote the CDC and say like, oh, the CDC said COVID is blah, 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 but they can still like twist it a little and like bias it as much as they want to. All no news sites do it. So it's better to just get it from the source. So if you hear something from the news, I kind of gave this tip. Like if the news does say, well, the CDC said blah, 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 go to the CDC and just read their information. So I'm not saying that I don't use them as your resources. If you get like insight from like maybe a news article that you read, go to the direct source. They'll usually cite their sources at the bottom of their article anyway. A great resource for you guys to use is this Digital Main Library database. So if you guys click it or click this link, I didn't test my links, so I hope these work. It should take you right where I went. So the Digital Main Library, you'll scroll down on subject, you'll click health. I'm just going to filter the databases for you. On resource type, you'll hit journals. And I would even go further. No, I wouldn't go further. You guys are fine. What I want you guys to which would be your best bet, would be PubMed. PubMed has a ton of literature that you guys can read, and just type in your keywords that you want in there. Maybe COVID-19. We're not doing COVID-19, but if you were searching for something, you should write your keywords in there that you're searching for. Maybe the prognosis of sickle cell anemia, and you'll find a ton of articles that come up there. So that's a great resource for you guys to use. If you guys have any questions on using this, then, if you guys have any questions using this database, let me know. Databases, once you get comfortable with them, they're not too scary. And then when citing your sources, Sun Up Citation Machine is an easy way to create accurate citations, accurate as I'm looking for at least. I don't know if I'd use this in college, but anyway, Sun Up Citation, I took you guys right to the MLA format, so you guys should just have to fill out. So yeah, you can click website, journal, really is what you guys should be using. Maybe you found a book, you can write the book, but just fill it out and it'll spit out a citation for you. You copy and paste it and you're golden. But I do need a reference page. So you should have at least 3 references to get a 3. If you use another one, that's absolutely fine. I think it's if you use 3 on your 4, you'll still get a 4. But anyway, you need 3 references at least. If you're like unsure about any of these things that I've talked about, please feel free to email me with a draft and I can email you back and make suggestions to help you tweak it a little bit to get a better grade. So it's better to do this if you choose to do this. It's better late than never. I'm not going to accept them on Friday. So if you send me a draft and you're like, wait, this is a draft, email it to me. Don't submit it on Google Classroom. Email me your draft. I'm not accepting drafts on Friday. I don't even know if I'd accept them on Thursday night. Like Thursday by noon kind of thing. Because by then you should really be focusing on finishing that project. And then your project is set to be due on Friday, May 15th. That's your guys' last academic day. So it's at 11:59. But again, like I said in the beginning, if you guys need an extension, just email me a heads up. Hey, I'm going to use the weekend. I need that for whatever reason. That's absolutely fine with me. Just let me know so I'm not hunting you guys down, because I will. And then finally, I want to go over this rubric with you guys. So it's set up like a 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I have like numbers to go with it. If I see that you guys are like a 4, but you guys are doing awesome, obviously you get 100. If you guys got a 3, but I don't feel like you got the numbers that are like under that, there's like a rubric that I have that's separate to this that shows the numbers. If I feel like you guys, that number doesn't accurately represent you, then obviously I'm going to go for a 4. So to get a 4 for the quality of research, you're going to cover the 5 questions. It's the 4 questions, isn't it? So I'll have to remember this. I'm going to put it in all caps so I remember. So the 4 questions, but then you also create 1 additional question that you thoroughly answer. To get a 3, you guys will research your research will thoroughly cover the 4 required questions and you'll create and answer 1 additional question. Maybe you answered it and it was like an all right answer. It wasn't like super thorough, but it was there. You'll get a 3. And the second thing you're being graded on is quality of the visual presentation. To get a 3, you're going to need the presentation is engaging, easy to read, and includes many images. Obviously, that engaging is going to be very loose. I don't want it to be boring, but like try and be as creative as you can. And then you should have a reference page or slide, depending on what you're doing. That concludes the presentation with at least 3 reliable resources. I said 4, but again, if you did 3 for a 4, that's fine. For a 4, the presentation is engaging, easy to read, and includes many images. The reference page or slide concludes the presentation with at least 3, I'm going to say 3 to 4 reliable resources. So they have to be reliable, right? So if I see that maybe a couple of them are news sources, you're not going to get that 4. And then finally, the delivery. So to get a 3, the presenter should demonstrate thorough knowledge of the topic, and the presenter uses creativity in delivery of information. So you should be creative and you should be knowledgeable of what you did. For a 4, the presenter demonstrates superior knowledge of this topic, and the presenter uses creativity in delivery of the information. So just like extra creative, and I like have full-on confidence you guys will totally know what you're talking about because you guys did for the brain presentation. You guys did awesome in those. And then I'll give you guys your total and I'll send any comments your way that I have, and you guys will get this rubric back. It'll be posted on the post. Other than that, guys, that is all I have for you. So if you have any questions or you're just like, what the heck did you cover? Email me. I also have office hours on Wednesday from 12 to 2, but I can meet really anytime during academic hours as long as you give me a heads up. I might have some meetings, but I can let you know the times I'm available. Well, have a great week, you guys. This isn't going to be the last you hear from me. So I'm not saying goodbye yet. I'm horrible with goodbyes, just a heads up. But anyway, I will talk to you guys soon.